technical difficulties. I'm sorry about that. I know I said I was going to go live at 4. It's 4:04 p.m. I'm not too late. I did a full intro and everything, alright? I thought I was live there for about 5 minutes, so I'm kind of out of energy already. So, anyway, we are live here now officially again for the landfall of Major Hurricane Helene. Again, we're expecting a high-end Category 3 landfall from this system in the Big Bend of Florida. We've already had several tornadoes today. We've had some dangerous to even devastating storm surge on the southwest coast of Florida, and several thousand power outages in the southern part of the peninsula as well. So, we've got a lot to go over this stream. Now, we've already hammered in a lot of this information over the past few days, but we do have some new information here, alright? Parts of southwest Georgia could experience Hurricane Helene at a high-end Category 2 intensity, maybe even low-end Category 3 if you were in the southwest corner of Georgia, which is not good. This system is going to stay strong much further inland than we originally thought. We could even see Atlanta maybe get some isolated high-end tropical storm to even low-end Category 1 hurricane force wind impacts there. Again, we have a high risk of flash flooding for a good chunk of the southeast here due to some of the catastrophic rain that we are expecting from this system. Up to 20 feet of storm surge as well is expected in parts of the Big Bend of Florida. The cone of uncertainty here has shifted a little bit to the east since we last checked up. Again, originally we were expecting a landfall near Apalachicola. Now we're thinking a landfall east of Tallahassee in the exact same area where Hurricane Debbie made landfall earlier this year. Okay, so again, we've got ourselves a lot to discuss. Again, I'm sorry I was late. I thought I was live for like 5 minutes. I did a whole intro and everything, so I already went over a lot of this stuff. But again, we've had several tornadoes today. The tornado threat is pretty high end today for parts of South Carolina and Georgia, so we're going to continue to watch out for that. And we do have a tornado warning right now on the northeast side of Apalachicola. We've got ourselves a little bit of rotation with a storm associated northwest of Carabel. So that's going to continue to push northwestward there over the next several minutes. This was very strong rotation originally, but it's kind of split here in a little two weaker pockets of rotation. So we'll see what happens as that kind of travels northwestward here towards areas like Wewa Hitchcock, however that goes. But anyway, the track goes right over your family in Tennessee. Well, the good news is that by the time this thing gets to Tennessee, we're not really expecting things to be too intense. Again, some tropical storm force winds, some very heavy rain, but outside of that, there shouldn't be too many problems aside from maybe an isolated tornado threat in eastern Tennessee. So anyway, again, I would go over like everything about this system, but we've already done that several times in the past several days, and I just did it again for the intro here whenever I wasn't live, whenever I thought I was. So we're just going to dive right into the coverage here. We do have a brand new tornado warning out for Inglewood, Florida. This is a tornado warning, so seek shelter immediately on the lowest floor of a sturdy building away from windows and in an interior room. This includes parts of Interstate 75, in between areas like Klein, Punta Gorda, back through the Venice area. So again, seek shelter immediately. Does Helene have lightning? No, not very much. Hurricanes usually do not really produce lightning. But there is some lightning, obviously, associated with the eye wall here. Just not quite as much as it would be with any sort of normal storm. But again, things are going to be very, very catastrophic here at landfall with hurricane force winds and serious storm surge. And again, whoever gets hit by the eye wall is going to see a crap ton of rain. Again, I'm expecting several flash flood emergencies, things like that. We have a new tornado warning now for that storm there. Again, Wewa Hitchcock is included in that tornado warning now, like I said. So again, seek shelter immediately in that area. This is slowly but surely making its way up towards the Panama City region. So we're going to continue to watch out for this. Northport, Florida. I know they were under a tornado warning a couple of times today, I believe. At least once. I know that for a fact. But Northport, Florida right now, I don't believe is under a tornado warning. Yeah, you're not. Oh, actually you are. Sorry. Northport is included in that tornado warning there. Again, we got some rotation over Rotonda West, but the main area of circulation here is going to be near Pineland. Again, we're going to see a ton of tornadoes today with the outer bands of this system. That's going to be one of the main things that we're able to cover here live on stream. Again, very impressive looking eye wall. Whoever gets hit by this thing, again, is going to see an unbelievable amount of rain, record-breaking for likely whoever gets hit by that. But yeah, make sure to let them know that Northport is under a tornado warning and they need to be getting to their safe spot as soon as possible. Again, I don't think this is going to reach Cat 4 hurricane intensity. Like I've said for the past few days, I think this is going to remain a Category 3. Very, very close to a Category 4. High-end Category 3 all the way up until landfall. We may see a Cat 4 at last second, just like Debbie. Or, sorry, not Debbie, but for Francine, we saw it jump to Category 2 at the last second. Maybe we'll see something like that here with Helene, but let's hope we don't. Again, it's possible, though, for sure. This is going to make landfall right around whenever the 7 p.m. update should be coming out from the National Hurricane Center. So if this were to get bumped to a Cat 4, that's whenever it would happen. Again, it's undergone serious rapid intensification over the past 24 hours. Again, a high-end Category 3 hurricane. Very, very serious stuff. Again, still some rotation here with our storm approaching the Fort Gadsden area. Got along Highway 65 there. A little bit of rotation right in this region there, where the yellows kind of touch the grays. Again, this rotation was really strong earlier. At this point, it's weakening out significantly, but still quite intense. Again, we've had several tornadoes today. None of them have been super strong, but we have had several tornadoes, as you can see by the icons there on the Radar Omega app across parts of Georgia and South Carolina. And it's only going to get worse. Storm surge height, again, still the same as yesterday. We're expecting a peak of 20 feet, which has never been forecasted from the National Hurricane Center. That's the most aggressive outlook ever for storm surge. From the National Hurricane Center. Literally the most aggressive ever. So that's a big deal. They didn't forecast this for Ian. They didn't forecast this for Idalia, which had heightened storm surge because of a supermoon that was occurring at the time. This is worse. 15 to 20 feet. And it's over a huge area as well, from Carabel to Suwannee River. Again, I seriously hope everybody evacuated. The National Hurricane Center has mentioned that conditions like this, where you've got 160 mile an hour gusts and 20 feet of storm surge, they are 100% unsurvivable if you're along the coast. You can't survive that. It's not physically possible. So again, hopefully everybody, especially the people that lived right along the coast in that area, but everybody got out of there. Unfortunately, there's going to be people that are stubborn and that stick around. And again, I just want to kind of let you guys know that if you are one of those people, now is your final chance before things get too serious. We've likely already got surge coming in here. This is a live look from Horseshoe Beach. Things are probably going to start to pick up here soon. All right, soon this entire camera is going to be underwater likely. So again, if you're in that area, now is your last chance to go before things do get too late. Again, you need to get at least a little bit further inland, at least up into Georgia. But again, even at that point, we're going to see serious hurricane force winds and a ton of rain. So again, I'd recommend going as far inland here as possible. Yep, 20 feet of storm surge. Again, never been forecasted from the NHC. Again, a high risk of flash flooding as well, a massive one. They connected the two small ones. Now it's a massive one over the southeastern United States. This will not be a Cat 2 by Atlanta, no. This is not going to be a Category 2 in Atlanta. That is definitely not possible. In fact, that'll probably never happen. We would have to have, like, the strongest hurricane ever for it to be a Category 2 all the way to Atlanta, with it making landfall in this area. It'll only be a tropical storm at that point. You're not going to get hit directly by this, but I'll tell you what, you're going to see rain and you're going to see wind. In fact, you already are. In this area here, we are seeing some showers and thunder showers rip through parts of northeast Alabama. Again, a little bit of wind likely. I believe you're under a wind advisory there. In fact, fun fact, we are under a wind advisory back home here at DDW Studios in parts of the Midwest. That's because this system, yes, is going to travel into parts of the Midwest. Granted, it'll be much, much less intense at that point, but still, we've got a large area of the Midwest included in wind advisories. Now, a lot of these don't specify anything crazy. If we look here, we can see that we're talking about, sustained winds of 20 to 30 miles an hour and gusts up to 45. That's not too crazy. Sam, you realize it's supposed to make landfall in like 4 hours, right? Again, it could get to Category 4 intensity. I just don't think it will. Again, I'm not saying it's not going to happen. Because, again, they pulled that same kind of thing with Francine where they updated it last second. But we'll see. I imagine, Spinny. You got a flood watch. Yeah, again, flooding is going to be one of the biggest things with this system, mainly along the East Coast, across the Carolinas, Georgia, Florida, and Tennessee. That is not 7 hours from now. That's less than 4 hours. Again, we can see it really well here on the Tampa radar, what things are looking like. Again, a very, very defined, impressive eye there. You don't see that very often, especially on radar. But so let's go back to our north port storm here. Get a little bit of rotation near Ko Palau. Ko Palau, however you pronounce that. Are they doing hourly updates? Okay, I didn't realize that. Alrighty. So again, we're getting radar updates here quite frequently, as you can imagine, so we're able to check up on our storm here very frequently. Also our tornado warned little outer bands here. Again, we already have significant flooding across parts of Virginia, North Carolina, and South Carolina, back through Georgia even. So whenever this system comes through, it is going to get significantly worse. Again, I'm expecting several flash flood emergencies, not just one, several. Again, we saw flash flood emergencies with Francine, we saw flash flood emergencies with Debbie, and this is a much, much, much more intense system than both Francine and Debbie. So, again, I'm expecting things to get extremely serious, extremely fast. Again, this is going to wipe out communities along the coast, unfortunately. 20 feet of storm surge is nearly, again, just enough to destroy almost everything in its path. Again, the homes are going to get swallowed underwater that are right along the coast. It's going to be very serious. The county next to you is in a considerable flash flood warning, you mean? Yeah, see that. Yeah, and you know what? It's just going to keep raining, so, again, it's going to get serious. Are you in the high risk? Let's see. Of flash flooding? You are. You are in the... No, you're in the moderate. You're just outside the high risk. Again, the high risk includes parts of Virginia, Tennessee, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, and Florida. And this is extremely rare, by the way. That's because you're not going to see hail with a hurricane. And yes, John is a hurricane again. And we also have Tropical Storm Isaac out in the North Atlantic. That's expected to become a hurricane. So let's see what happens with that. Welcome back, Alan. So again, our tornado warned storms right now not looking super impressive, honestly, at this point. Again, we've had so many just spin-up tornadoes all day long and yesterday. And we're going to continue to see that here over the next several hours. I want to make this clear. I want to make this extremely clear because I know there's going to be a lot of freaking out whenever I end live. There's going to be another stream later tonight. This is not the only stream. This is not the Landfall stream. The Landfall stream will be later tonight. I'm not going to be live for like 6 or 7 hours straight. Believe me, I'd love to, but I have stuff to do. I've got to babysit, so I've got a lot of stuff on my plate right now. So we're going to do this live stream here covering some tornadoes and, again, the forecast. And then later tonight we'll be live for the actual landfall. I want to make that as clear as possible because I know there's going to be that one person that's like, why are you ending live? It's like still 2 hours till landfall. We've got two streams. But yeah, we do have tornado watches up a significant part of the East Coast here. Again, they all say several tornadoes likely. Again, some of them go really late into the nighttime hours, actually. But what's up, Tampa Air? Again, the most significant tornado threat will be along parts of South Carolina and Georgia. They usually are. I don't babysit every Thursday. I've got stuff going on every day. I'm a busy person. Again, if I could sit here for 7 hours straight, I would, but that's not a possibility. The St. Pete Bridge is underwater. Yeah, if that's in like Southwest Florida, that's very believable. Again, they got hit by serious storm surge already. But again, not nearly as bad as what we're going to see later here on the west coast of Florida. I think things are going to be, again, unlike anything we've really ever seen in this area. Who needs health? They say health is wealth, but wealth is enjoying yourself. There's a really good quote that I like. It's, "I'm not here for a long time, I'm here for a good time." Because, you can try to preserve yourself as, long as possible, but I would rather live to, 75 and have the time of my life than live to 80 and, be bored of everything. Yeah, Cat 3 is definitely still crazy. And again, it's not out of the question that we could see a Cat 4 here. Going to Belton tonight, what can you expect? So Belton, marginal risk of severe weather in terms of a tornado threat. Just tropical storm force conditions. Again, the biggest thing will definitely be the flooding. That's an area in the high risk of flash flooding. That is serious. You're in Orlando. Yeah, so Orlando, again, has tropical storm warnings and a tornado watch. I think tornadoes will be the most significant thing. I don't think downtown Orlando's been under a tornado warning yet, but, again, I think tornadoes will be the biggest problem there, if anything. So, look at this. Situation is very favorable for tornadoes. They don't use that tag very often. I don't know if I've genuinely ever slept 10 hours. Is that sad? I seriously don't know if I have. You have school tomorrow? Lucky. Concern for that flooding that may happen in Tennessee, coupled with high winds, could knock trees down. Well, and again, I just want to hammer this home. This is going to be one of the craziest storms to ever hit the Big Bend of Florida. Almost ever. Again, 20 feet of storm surge and 160 mile an hour gusts, as the National Hurricane Center puts it, is unsurvivable if you're along the coast. You can't survive that. There's no, oh, maybe you'll get lucky. No. You're not going to survive that. I'm just going to be completely blunt with you. Again, that only goes for people right along the coast. If you're a few counties inland, obviously, I would still evacuate because those winds are going to be serious. You're going to see extreme flooding from the eye wall, but it's not going to be quite as bad as areas that are right along the coast. Again, this is going to wipe out entire neighborhoods that are along the coast. It's going to be devastating, I imagine. So, well, I don't know about that, Sam, but the biggest thing I think will be storm surge and flooding. And again, several tornadoes have already occurred today. And the peak time frame for tornadoes will be kind of a couple hours from now, so we'll see. And we've got some tornado warnings. None of them are really looking too impressive right now. Still got that one for Northport. Again, we've had so many tornado warnings today. Port Charlotte. But anyway, you're in the wind advisory. Same here. Again, a lot of the Midwest is for this system. Again, I don't think that it's going to be anything insanely crazy, wind speeds. But if you are in the Midwest, do expect things to get gusty and expect a lot of rain. There's this thing called the Fujiwara effect, and it's going to make this system stall out here over parts of western Kentucky for a very long time, and that is going to dump several inches of rain on western Kentucky. So again, you wouldn't expect it, but the rainfall forecast for portions of southern Illinois, southeast Missouri, and southern Indiana, as well as western Kentucky, is anywhere from 4 to 6 inches. So we'll see what happens there. And the forecast for me is right around 1 to 2. And then I'm just outside of that 2 to 4 zone, I believe. So we'll see. There's flooding in Greenwood, South Carolina. There's probably flooding all over South Carolina, honestly. But yeah, we could definitely see some significant flooding all the way into parts of western Kentucky for sure. And also western Tennessee. Could see some of that. Again, it's going to stall out over western Kentucky here, but that doesn't mean that's where the impacts are going to be isolated. I think that the actual impacts, whenever that sits over western Kentucky, are going to be a lot more widespread here. It's going to impact Tennessee, Arkansas, Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, Kentucky. A lot of states there. You're in the moderate flooding risk. Yeah. Again, the high risk for today is huge. This is like one of the biggest high risks of flash flooding ever. This storm is breaking all sorts of records. But anyway, we have a new tornado warning now for our Port Charlotte storm. That is a pretty impressive hook echo there. Again, if you're in this area, seek shelter immediately. In Port Charlotte, parts of Interstate 75 there. Get to your safe spot as soon as possible. I don't know why I don't have my sound on. But anyway, is that normal in the correlation coefficient? That's just contamination. That's not anything to be concerned about. We're waiting for the next velocity scan here. Things are not wanting to load. What in the world? Okay, it put me on scans from an hour ago. I don't know why. So, still don't have that new velocity scan. Wonder why. We have a pretty strong water spout out here just off the coast near Englewood. Again, hopefully this area... I don't know, this area again is kind of right along the verge of should you evacuate or not. Again, anywhere north of Tampa, I hope everybody evacuated because, again, things are going to literally be unsurvivable for parts of the Florida Big Bend from the National Hurricane Center. That's what they said. Completely unsurvivable. But again, there are going to be people that don't take that seriously. And if you know any of those people that are stubborn like that, you need to let them know, please. You could genuinely save a life. So, anyway, new tornado warning now in effect for parts of North Carolina. Let's go up to Wake County here north of Raleigh. Seek shelter immediately. Lowest floor of a sturdy building away from windows and in an interior room. Again, that includes the north side of the Raleigh suburbs here. Includes Six Forks, North Raleigh, Millbrook, North Hills, and parts of Interstate 540. Sorry, my chat was being weird. The gusts could get as high as 80 in Abbeville. I really doubt it. You know, my local news station is saying gusts up to 60, and again, there's no way that happens. The National Hurricane Center says for Abbeville, gusts up to 70, so we'll see. It's pretty interesting how the sustained wind forecast is only 25 to 35 miles an hour, and then the gusts can be up to 70. It's pretty wild. But yeah, we'll likely see some trees down, some power lines down, so let me know what you see out there. So again, this is a really interesting supercell here. And I think this could produce a tornado pretty soon. Anyone know why it's predicted to turn west? 70, I meant not 80, okay. Your phone is being very laggy right now. Again, I'm looking to see if we're going to have a new National Hurricane Center update here. Again, it should be at 5 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Eastern. iOS beta. Yeah, I never really mess with the beta updates. I don't want to break that. And they're such minor updates, too. It's hardly ever even worth it. You'll wake up at 4:30 so you can see those winds at the strongest point. That'll be fun. So again, that rotation right northwest of Millbrook as we speak here. And there we go, another tornado warning now. That's going out for areas east of Hastings, Florida. Seek shelter immediately. On the lowest floor of a sturdy building, away from windows, and in an interior room. That is for Gopher Ridge. Strong rotation there, south of town. So seek shelter immediately. So that puts us back up to 4. So let's go back to North Carolina here. Still waiting for a new velocity scan. Again, some tight rotation there northwest of Millbrook. I'm pretty concerned about that. And that's on the far north side of the Raleigh suburbs here. So seek shelter immediately. There are likely tens of thousands of people in this tornado warning. It's a pretty small one too, so that says a lot about how populated this area is. There's only a town called Mini City out here. What in the world? You know, though, even if there is debris with this one, we're probably not going to see it on the correlation coefficient because we are a little ways away from the radar site. I don't know, we could, but it would have to be a pretty strong tornado for us to see that. The radar's, you know, a good 60 miles away, but it will get closer to it, so we'll see. The storm well, that is. So, let's go back here to Northport. Again, that's a pretty classic-looking little mini supercell there. Got a few of them here. No real rotation at this point, though, so things are chilling. Yeah, I know, Sam. I was talking to Boardness when I was talking about the correlation coefficient. Okay, so we have a new reflectivity scan, so we should get a new velocity scan here any second. And rotation will likely be approaching Interstate 540 now. Fake hook, for real. So let's see what happens. Again, that is... Okay, so a little bit further west than where I thought, but again, that is going to go right into Six Forks. And let's hope we don't have a tornado with that, but unfortunately there is a good chance. No debris signature, though, and I feel like if there was a tornado on the ground, we'd definitely be able to see a debris signature, because, one, we're right next to the radar, and two, it's in a populated area, so... Hopefully that means this isn't on the ground, but it could just not be that strong. What's up, Jesse? What's the timing of your impacts? Really now through the next 24 hours, honestly. I mean, you're about to get in on some really heavy rain here, it looks like. If we just watch this play out, it looks like you're going to get some very heavy rain here soon. I imagine that will actually get you under a flash flood warning by the time that fully passes. And then again, over the next 24 hours, you're going to see rain, tornadoes potentially, some serious wind action, and more. I mean, it's going to be a pretty interesting next 24 hours here for you. And when I say 24 hours, I mean it. If we go all the way into like tomorrow afternoon, we could still be seeing some showers and thunderstorms in that area, so... And we'll see. Again, this is going to, like, dump rain over parts of Kentucky. Again, this is going to remain at hurricane status, like, well into Georgia. And again, maybe as far north as Atlanta. It won't be Category 2 status, is what I was saying earlier. Definitely won't be Category 2 in Atlanta, but it could get pretty close to Category 1 status. We have hurricane warnings in areas, just a couple counties south of Atlanta, so we'll see. Still some rotation there, approaching Six Forks in North Carolina on the north side of Raleigh. Sorry, I got corrected on that last night. Keep forgetting. What time is landfall expected later this evening? 8 or 9 p.m. Central. I guess for you that would be like 6 or 7 p.m. on the West Coast. And still got 4 tornado warnings here. A lot of them seem to be pretty big nothing burgers, though, at this point. Again, I'm watching this one near Palm Coast, approaching St. Augustine. I've been in this area a couple of times before, actually. Been to St. Augustine. They got a PDS tornado earlier this year. I forgot about that one. I've forgotten about a lot of the big tornadoes this year, especially early in the year. What's the most concerning rotation we have? Probably the one in North Carolina, or the one here in northeast Florida, near Jacksonville. And this North Carolina one, this is really far north for a tornado threat today. I did not think we would see tornadoes this far north. So, anyway. And we're starting to see those outages in Florida creep a little bit further northward. And, again, there are going to be counties that are entirely without power. The entire counties are going to be here in the Big Bend, likely. Especially wherever we see the landfall at. And, interestingly enough, the GFS was right, guys. This is making landfall, or it looks like it's going to make landfall anyway, a little further east than what the NHC was originally saying. So, WGFS, because they were saying that was going to happen. I didn't believe it. The National Hurricane Center didn't believe it, but there you go. Ton of lightning with the eye wall, by the way. Yeah, take a look at recon, all right. So, anyway. We have an enhanced stress tomorrow as well for tornadoes in parts of South and North Carolina. But once we get to Saturday, there's no real tornado threat with this. That'll be prevalent. So, we'll see. Alright, make sure to let them know. Again, the worst part for North Carolina will be the flooding, without a shadow of a doubt, in the western part of the state anyway. If you're in the eastern part of North Carolina, though, the biggest thing will probably be tornadoes, honestly, because you're not really expected to see much else other than tornadoes and heavy rain. Maybe some gusty winds, damaging winds at times. But, again, it'll be like a classic tornado outbreak. Just in an unusual area to see a tornado outbreak. Especially to this magnitude. Again, I think we've had enough tornadoes today to already classify as in the outbreak. He's under the 10% tornado risk tomorrow. We got a 10% tornado risk as well today for parts of North Carolina, mainly just Wilmington southward. So just a small section of the state there. But the marginal risk goes all the way up to the North Carolina-Virginia state line, and the slight risk includes some big cities as well, like Charlotte, Fayetteville, Jacksonville, most of the populated areas of North Carolina there in the central part of the state, southern part of the state, whatever. Again, if you're new here, make sure to like and subscribe because we'll be live for Landfall again later this evening. That'll be a different stream. I want to make that clear. So we're going to end off here soon, and I don't want people to think that, you know, oh, he's not going to be live for Landfall? What? I will be live for Landfall. Look at all of these supercells and just this train here. That's insane. He's in Fayetteville, Green Barrett's training. And our tornado warning storm here is starting to pick up a little bit on the west coast of Florida. So we'll likely see them reissue that tornado warning here very soon. In fact, it would have to be really soon because this warning expires in literally 5 minutes. Still there. If anything, it's getting stronger. So again, if you're just northeast of this warning, prepare to see a tornado warning soon and get ready to seek shelter. Again, this is a pretty rural area, but just northwest of Arcadia, Florida. I don't think we are, Jesse. I don't think we are. I'm sure nobody would care, but again, we've had people in my stream before telling us not to do that stuff, so we're not, at least I'm not going to mess with that. I don't want to get sued. Well, I say it like it's happened multiple times. There was one person one time that came in and said, hey, don't use the Storm Chasers cameras, which is a bit different from the Project Mesovort things, but still, I wouldn't risk it if I were you. And again, I don't think I'm going to be bringing them up that much. I may bring them up for a split second or something, but it's not like I'm going to keep them in the corner of my screen or anything. Again, no ongoing tornadoes at this time. What's up, Nov? Good to see you here. Again, if you're just not tuning in, we have 4 tornado warnings across parts of Florida and North Carolina currently. Although 3 of them in Florida are about to expire, we'll probably see them reissue at least 1 or 2 of them here. The one in the Panhandle, I think they could let go at this point. But look at satellite. All right, I'll check. Here, I'll just bring it up. Had 35-mile-an-hour gusts today for your area. That's huge. Wow. This is a massive storm. I mean, I knew that it was a massive storm, but wow. Look at that. That thing is a beauty. But it is going to be devastating for millions of people, unfortunately. Holy crap. Again, the sheer size of this thing is wild. You can look at that explosive convection on the east side of the storm. It's a sign of intensification. Wow. The shirt is gas, Coca-Cola, let's go. I get a lot of comments about that shirt, like in real life. You're in Michigan? Yeah, you don't really have much of a threat then. Yeah, I think I literally just brought that up before that chat message popped up, Kevin. So, new tornado warning now. And now we have another one, wow. So we're now up to 6 tornado warnings. One of them is for parts of South Carolina. That's going out for areas west of Georgetown. Seek shelter immediately. Let's see here. Let's check the rotation with that one. Pretty impressive there, north of North Santee, so seek shelter. And then our other one that just got issued is back into parts of Florida, so we'll check that out. It's an extension here for our storm near Jacksonville. And that rotation's getting pretty impressive, so if you're in Molasses Junction, make sure you're getting to your safe spot. Yeah, definitely true, Kevin. Yeah, the tornado threat's popping off a little bit here. Funnily enough, though, I'm actually going to lower the tornado warning counter because 3 of them are about to expire in 1 minute. Alrighty, so again, to reemphasize, tornado warning for Northport, Florida is probably going to get reissued here any second, so actually I could probably bump that back up to 4. I'd be surprised if they didn't reissue that. But we'll see. For right now, we're going to keep it at 3. And then again, the one for the Jacksonville area got reissued. It looks like they're going to let the one in the Florida Panhandle go. And there we go. They extended the one in Florida. Why? Oh, no, they didn't. That's a whole nother storm. I was going to say, why is it going south? But there you go. South of Port Charlotte and Punta Gorda. Strong rotation. Seek shelter immediately. Again, you just got done with that last one, but you got to go. I'm sorry to tell you. We were hoping it would be over for you, but nope. Unfortunately not. So, puts us back up to 4 tornado warnings at this time. Our storm and rally is still rotating decently strongly, so we'll see what happens with that. And your bay leaf, again, that could produce a tornado at any minute. So we'll see. Look at the high-res storm velocity on which one. Yeah, that always happens, Airborne. That's the problem with having my face cam up now. So, anyway. Again, just look at all these little supercells. You can tell every little spot of rotation with every single one. You can see it all clearly there. Even with our new one. Alright, see you, Jesse. Have a good afternoon. Because for you, it's still only like 2:46. Time zones are weird. Okay, and they reissued the tornado warning for our northern storm here, so... Again, now if you are in this tornado warning, seek shelter. This is a really rural area, though, so I doubt we have anybody watching from this region, but... Parts of Highway 70, parts of Highway 64, and parts of Highway 62 are included in that, so... And we'll watch out for that here over the next several minutes. So that puts us back up to 5. The terminal radar shows a decent couplet. I'll check. Sorry, the terminal. Wow, yeah, that's actually some really strong rotation there near Bayleaf. We'll watch out for that. Again, this is really far north, guys. This is, like, as far as the outer bands go here. So. Did we just get 2 scans? What just happened? Okay, anyway. Wow. And that could definitely produce a tornado at any minute, but it doesn't look like it's doing so right now. We don't have any sort of debris signature anyway. And again, that's a populated area close to the radar, so if there was a tornado, we'd definitely see a debris signature, unless that thing's like super weak. So, we'll see. And that storm just west of Georgetown near Spring Gully is pretty hard to look at because of bad radar coverage, but we'll keep an eye out for it. We've also got a rotation offshore here that looks pretty strong approaching McClellanville, so we'll see if that gets a tornado warning. Whenever that makes its way onto land there, we'll see. I'm a little surprised they reissued the Jacksonville Storm 1, but I guess actually, wow, that is pretty strong rotation. Okay. Yeah, it's pretty decent rotation there. So, right over Molasses Junction, we could have a tornado trying to develop, or currently on the ground, so seek shelter immediately. If you are in that general vicinity. And our other storms, and just some strong rotation. Nothing immediately making me think there's a tornado on the ground. You know. So, anyway. We'll just keep chilling here for a little bit. Ugh. Dude, I'm tired. Yeah, I've had a long day. And again, we've got a lot more stuff to do tonight, so... Again, there are people right now in Georgia that have literally never been under a hurricane warning that are freaking out right now because this is their first time. But this kind of stuff happens not very often. Again, it's been so long since we've seen a hurricane this strong hit this area other than Idalia, Smarty Pants. I know you commenters were about to go right into the chat and say, well, Idalia was like the same exact strength this time last year. First of all, I'd argue this system's even stronger in terms of the storm surge threat, but anyway. So, the NATO cast, again... This channel, we do not support NATO cast during hurricane event outlooks. This is a terrible, terrible showing for AI here. The humans are going to take the W on this one, I can already tell you for a fact. 45% chance of a tornado within 25 miles of any given point for parts of South Carolina, and it's a pretty big zone there too. That would be like a historic tornado outbreak if that ever happened from the SPC. We got multiple 10%s. Look how big that 2% is. It goes all the way from Florida back into Virginia. That's wild. Anyway. Again, that is AI. That is bogus. It's not always bogus, but during hurricanes it is usually. What's up, Gooseman? Yeah, you can actually see that on radar here. Wow. That is actually really concerning that you can see it on the radar. What's up, B-Dog? Yeah, it does that with literally every hurricane. Like with every single one almost, especially all the majors. So we have a new tornado warning now for parts of North Carolina. It's an extension for a storm just north of the Raleigh suburbs at this point. This is setting for Sandy Plain, Redwood, Northside, and Creedmoor. Seek shelter immediately. Yeah, the NATO cast outlooks during hurricanes are pretty horrendous. In fact, they're about as horrendous as could be. The only thing they could do worse is under forecast significantly and say like, oh, 2% tornado risk. But even that, it would be more accurate than these 60% they put out, or 45, sorry. And the 45s have only ever happened a handful of times from the SBC, so to see that with a hurricane that we see like of this strength like once a year, that would be wild if we got something like this every year in terms of the tornado threat from the SBC. Schools are going out in Kentucky for the hurricane? That's kind of crazy. That is insane. They're going out in Kentucky? Are you serious? That is insane. Why? That makes no sense. That is crazy. It makes no sense at all. Why can't they just do that in Illinois? Why can't they be fun here? Your school might go out. That is insane that they're closing school in Kentucky for a post-tropical cyclone. They canceled in eastern Tennessee. That makes a lot more sense. The difference between Kentucky and Tennessee in this situation is eastern Tennessee at one point was forecasted to have a little, very localized area of up to 30 inches of rain. So that makes a lot of sense. You kind of have to cancel. There's no way you just can't cancel whenever you're threatened by 30 inches of rain. But whenever Kentucky's getting like a couple inches, some gusty winds, they canceled in Kentucky, really? It's such a crazy difference between Tennessee and Kentucky in terms of impacts that we're going to see here with this system. So we have a new tornado warning now. Or is that a new tornado watch? Because it's not a tornado warning that's new. I don't think so, anyway. really make the tornado watch sound the different one, the severe thunderstorm warning one. Although then, I'd still get it confused, probably even more actually, so I don't know. Anyway. Yeah, for sure. Everybody gonna have a long weekend on the East Coast here. Southeast coast, anyway. And into the Midwest as well, the Ohio Valley. So, it looks like we have a new tornado watch. We don't. I don't know why then. I don't know why the alert randomly went off. Did the warning disappear and it's back or something? Nope. I don't know. Because I can see them issuing a tornado watch further west into parts of western South Carolina and North Georgia. Because they haven't done that yet. And discrete storms are starting to pop up in that area just a little bit. A little bit of rotation in some of these areas here in eastern Georgia. East Central and northeastern Georgia. And if you're new here, make sure to like and subscribe. It helps out the channel, and we're going to be live so much this weekend. It's going to be wild. Not this weekend, but the next couple of days here, I imagine. Okay, that better actually be a new warning, or else I'm going to lose it. Okay, new tornado warning. That is for... It is a new one. Is that for St. Johns County? It is. It's an extension for a Jacksonville storm. Seek shelter immediately. Seems like school will be canceled everywhere. Yeah, it's kind of wild they're closing schools all the way into Kentucky for this. I would have never guessed that, but there you go, I guess. The more you know. So, we're at 5 tornado warnings at this point. Anyway. Your cousin's without power in parts of Northport, Florida, I imagine. But again, that's not due to a tornado or anything. I know they've got a tornado warning right now, but... Or east and Northport at this point, but it's not due to a tornado or anything. That would just be due to wind. More than likely. I mean, if we look, yeah, we're expecting... I don't know. I mean, storm surge probably actually is what cut it. I don't know. Welcome back, Paige. Again, if you're just now tuning in, we are watching so many tornado warnings right now across parts of Florida and the Carolinas. It's not really impacting you until tomorrow night and Saturday. Same here. And again, it's going to stall out over western Kentucky. I think that's probably why they canceled schools. They're super worried about this. The thing is, it sounds scary, you know. A previously major hurricane is going to stall out over western Kentucky and sit there for days. It's not really that scary whenever you think of it in the sense of, at this point, it'll be just an ordinary thunderstorm that lasts a long time, you know. Yeah, I was thinking about doing the same, actually, and at least in, like, a short, especially since we've, you know, got a wind advisory. They're pretty confident in this. Gusty winds will blow around unsecured objects. Tree limbs could be blown down, and a few power outages may result. Again, that's all the way back in Illinois. We've got very, very serious stuff that's going to unfold on the East Coast. Clearly. Again, things are already getting going here. Potential impacts from the wind are unfolding. Life-threatening and historic storm surge possible. 16 to 20 feet expected. Again, crazy stuff. Again, unsurvivable storm surge. So anyway... I think we are getting NHC updates every hour, so we should get a new one here very shortly. Again, all of Florida, in terms of the peninsula anyway, is seeing tropical storm force winds. The only area that's not, the Panhandle. which is funny because that's one of the areas closer to landfall. But again, it just goes to show, you know, if this system had made landfall 100 miles further west, this would be a totally different event. Again, it's partially because of the shape of Florida here, but also areas east of the eye wall always will see impacts worse than areas to the west. Again, obviously, if you get hit by the eye wall, that'd probably be the worst, but if you're east of it, you can still see some of the worst impacts. Just like we're seeing here today. Later tonight, anyway. Really? That's insane. I mean, it makes sense, though. I know it probably sounds ridiculous, but people aren't going to leave in what the National Hurricane Center calls unsurvivable conditions. They probably think, oh, I've been through this, you know, hundreds of times. It's Florida. But, again, this is a major hurricane. There's a difference between the typical, you know, tropical storms, the baby hurricanes, the Category 1s, and a major hurricane with the highest National Hurricane Center storm surge forecast ever put out. 20 feet of storm surge, 160 mile an hour or greater wind gusts at the same time in the same area. That is going to completely obliterate communities along the coast. Again, it sounds dramatic, but that is true. See you, Alan. Thank you for tuning in. Yeah, again, I think we're going to wrap things up soon, but we will have another stream later tonight for Landfall. Oh, yeah, it's no joke. Again, that is unsurvivable according to the National Hurricane Center. And again, I mean, duh, you can't survive in 20 feet of water. You're good. So, anyway. Dude, Stony Point, Virginia, over 5 feet of water flowing over the road, and it's only going to get so much worse. Again, that's one of the areas where we can genuinely see a flash flood emergency. We already have a considerable flash flood warning and everything. Oh, yeah. Especially the Big Bend. Again, you gotta get out. This is really your last chance at this point. You're in North Carolina concerned about tornadoes. Well, the main day for tornadoes would actually be tomorrow for North Carolina, but today in southern North Carolina, we could see some tornadoes. We don't have any tornado warnings right now in North Carolina, or we do have one actually, north of Raleigh, I guess, but tomorrow will be a bigger day for tornadoes in North Carolina, I think. But we just got this one measly storm that's dying out here in North Carolina. It had really strong rotation for a while, though. Not really strong, but decently strong. So, and luckily that's kind of weakening out just a little bit. Got some rotation popping up southwest of Durham, but it's not much. We'll see if that evolves and even gets a tornado warning. But am I staying live for Landfall? That'll be a separate stream, but I will be live for Landfall. So, again, strong rotation west of Georgetown there. We can't really see it that well, though, so we'll see. Alright, down to 2 tornado warnings. Already had one near Meadow Day. Yeah, we've had a lot of tornadoes today. Most of them have been in South Carolina and Georgia, but I didn't know we had that one in North Carolina, so. Again, I've been at school all day, so you know how it is. But, yeah, if you're just not tuning in, make sure to like and subscribe. We had 24 likes this stream. That's pretty good for a 1 hour stream. Not too shabby. So thank you guys for that. You're just south of Raleigh. Ryan Hall called out your county. Wow, that's a big deal. Raleigh, sorry, not Raleigh. I keep wanting to say Raleigh. But, yeah. Yeah, it's never good when Ryan Hall mentions your area. He's mentioned my county before, and it's always a pretty scary but also fun sight. Well, it's a fun sight for me because I'm a weatherhead. It's not really scary at all for me, but I imagine that it's scary for most people. New update just said 120. In terms of winds? Is it already weakening? Is dry air tearing it apart? Wow. Doesn't really make a difference, though, between 120 and 125. You're not going to notice that. Anyway, again, we'll be live later tonight for Landfall. If anything, like, seriously major happens, especially in terms of a tornado threat over the next couple hours, which is possible, we'll go back live in between for an emergency update. But I think for right now, we're probably only going to have one other stream today, and again, that will be the Landfall stream later tonight. So I want to thank you all for tuning in. It's been very eventful, and again, it'll be even more eventful later this evening. So